Hi everyone, it is Drop the Motherfucking Money Struggle. Welcome to my party. There's something actually really beautiful about getting fed up. So if that's where you're at, thank God, do something with it. One of the most depressed, upset, fed up points of my whole life was when I created my life coaching page and decided that I was gonna, start this career that I had no idea how to start. And I was 25, but I was so depressed. So I remember my therapist in grad school saying I was so just distraught over having no purpose and meaning in my life. And she said to me, Amanda, this is the place where all transformation will come. This moment of desperation, when you don't know what the fuck to do, this is where your creativity is going to show up. When you're desperate, you're willing to see things differently. When you're fucking over it, you're willing to have a shift. You're willing to ask for guidance, to ask something to help you because you don't know how to do it on your own anymore. And there's something really powerful about that. What do you do if you don't know how to use your gifts in a profitable way yet? God, angels, universe. I desire to make money by using my gifts in a way that feels really good to me and serves others. I'm willing to do my part. I'm willing to create things. I'm willing to show up for however you guide me. I want to serve people. I desire my work to be high service. What would you have me do? Prayers like that are still how I make money in business, still. And I'm like, God, how the fuck are we going to do this? I'm willing to be guided. I'm willing to do my part. I'm willing to show up, but I have no actual idea. Let divine guidance show up. Let inspiration move through me. Let the part that I can't do myself be done for me. That's how it feels to me. I had the belief that many of us had that God's like mad at us for asking for more or wanting more, right? Like there's something in us that believes like God's already given so much, whoever has to ask for more, when actually that God's not a being like your parents that's mad at you for being ungrateful. That's not how it fucking works at all, right? Like, yes, gratitude is powerful and we should have the daily practice of bringing the feelings and energy of gratitude into our bodies around the things we want. Like, of course we should. But like, God's not going like, I already bought you that, you still want that. Like, it's not fucking like that. But anyway, in my head, it was just like it is for so many of you. So anyway, I got out this journal and I'm in New York and I just had this like clear moment of like, what do you want from the world, Amanda? And when I started journaling out what I fucking wanted, what I wanted from the world and not from God, I was able to get really honest about everything I wanted. I was able to just say it clearly. And God, or whatever you want to call it, still fucking worked with me to get every single one of those things. Like, of course, he, she, it did. Like, of course. But, like, the idea of calling it God blocked me. So if the idea of asking is blocking you, don't fucking ask. Do something else. Decide, request, declare, make known, move into the energy of, become a match for. Just fucking do it, right? Just do it. It's like there is nothing that is ultimately a problem in our life just because it is the problem. It's our way of viewing it as a problem that gives it power. Anything that we focus on in a negative way, we give negative power to, and anything we focus on in a positive way, we give positive power to. You know, when everyone like freaks out about debt and like I have debt, I have student loans, and I'm like, dude, debt is just a choice to pay things off over time. Like, yeah, you're an energetic match for debt, and that's interesting. What in you is okay with having that amount of debt? Like, we can look at that. But like, I have used credit cards and debt on purpose, and I never have felt buried by that. I felt freed by that because it's giving me opportunity. And other people feel like differently about it, but it's all just stories we're fucking telling. But we give debt power when we focus on debt, and we give bills power when we focus on bills. Anytime we focus on anything with not enough, or focus on anything frantically, we give more not enough, crazy, chaotic, frantic power to it, and fuck that shit. Like, it truly is a process of unfucking ourselves, you know? Money is our motherfucking birthright. Having money is a natural experience. Like, having money is the way it was always supposed to fucking be, right? The problem, just like love, just like any resource, the problem is that we have blocked ourselves, that we feel not good enough, that we feel not worthy, that we don't believe we can have it, that we think it has to be hard, that we think we don't come from that kind of family or that kind of place or that kind of whatever. Like, because we can't see how we live in a limited state around money. We don't believe we can receive it, and nothing can come into our lives that we don't believe we can have, that we don't feel worthy of, that would violate our free will, and that's just not how it fucking works, right? So when you move into the state of knowing it's yours and expecting it and vibing with it and feeling it coming in and knowing that it's inevitable. So when you're an energetic match for money, when you're a vibrational match for money, when you're in alignment with money, right? When that's your state and that's how you live. So the next step has to come. The guidance has to come. Let me break this down. So often when we're manifesting, we're holding space for money. We're being an energetic match for money. And often we will be led. We will have like a nudge or an urge to do something, to act in faith in some kind of way. And sometimes that's just buying something or spending money or standing up for ourselves in a conversation about money or whatever. There'll be a moment to act. For me, I'll be asking for a certain amount of money, holding space for a certain amount of money, and then my action will be something I create through my business or the way I share something in my business or the thing I say in a post or an email or whatever. My inspired action will come. It has to. It has to come, right? Because the money has to come because I'm a match for it. And when I'm a match for something, it has no choice but not to come. Money does grow on trees. It is made of paper, but it is not hard. It's not hard. I'm telling you, I make more money every year and it gets easier every year because I expect it to get easier. We are writing the rules. We are making the rules of our own reality. The universe can't give us anything we don't believe we can have. Does that make sense? So if I believe that money gets easier and easier all the time for me, then I'm going to create a reality where money gets easier and easier all the time for me, and everything in my world is going to show up to meet that because that is the expectation I am putting out there, and that is what I'm available for, and that is where my energy is at. Does that make sense? So it continually gets easier for me. But I watch people, I've had friends who believe that money has to get harder and earning has to be hard. And they believe the only reason they earn is because they hustle. And I'm all about the hustle. I will take my action. I will do my part. I will show up on this live stream. I will show up. But I don't believe that hard work is proportionate to money. It's just not true. The smarter I work, I want to say the smarter I work and the more strategic I work, but that's not even it. The more inspired I work, the more guided I work, the more in the flow I work, the more money I'm able to earn. Not the harder I work. Not even close. So the universe can't give you anything you don't believe you can have that would override your free will. The universe can't give you anything you don't believe you can have. So part of my job in courses like the Money Mentality Makeover course, or anytime I talk about money, my job is to help you change your mind around money. Because when you change your mind around money, you change your emotions. When you change your emotions, you change the energy you're putting out into the world. You change your energetic field. And what is in our energetic field, what we're putting out there, is what we're attracting back to us all the time. So when I help you change your mind around money, I'm just helping you let the law of attraction work to your advantage, because the law of attraction is working all the time anyway. We might as well use it on purpose. We are manifesting all the time. There's nothing we could ever do to make manifestation not happen. We're always going to be manifesting all the time. All manifestation is you attracting more of who you are, attracting more of whatever energetic state you hold all the time. Have you ever had a shitty day and shitty things keep happening to you all day, right? Where you are becoming an energetic match for more shittiness, and then you attract more shittiness, right? So just like that, we can choose to be an energetic match for money or for anything we want. But it's hard to become an energetic match for money when you don't feel good enough for money, when you don't feel worthy of money, when you believe that rich people are greedy or wrong or selfish or rude or bad people or whatever. You're not going to want to become wealthy if your internal belief is that people with money are bad, right? So we have to go through and reprogram all these stories, all these limiting ideas, all these crazy lies that make us feel uncomfortable about receiving money, right? Uncomfortable about having money. Sometimes we have stories like, I can earn it, but I can't hold on to it. I'm bad with money. What does that even fucking mean, you know? The lies we tell around money are just ridiculous things we've heard, things that we've been programmed to believe. And we can go through and shift every single one of those ideas and tell a new story, and then move into a new experience of having money, and move into a new experience of how money occurs in our lives and flows into our lives, right? It's the most scary and the most doubtful and the most confusing right before. you break through in my experience, especially, not every time, but especially when I set the goals that really freaked me out, the goals that were really scary, that there was no way in hell I knew how I was going to do it myself. The ones that were like really like, who am I to make that? Like, those are the ones where like I was like wrestling with the beliefs a lot more. Like and you don't have to do it that way, but when I decide I want something, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it. So I was more like actively every day looking at the beliefs, and actively every day telling the new stories, and actively every day making and saying my affirmations, and really digging in when I wanted something that really freaked me out, and just moving myself back to that place of abundance. And that's kind of some hard work. But then there's been some times where I wanted something and it's more of like, I want it and I want it by the end of this year or something. And then it's not a wrestling and a hustling as much every day as it's I know that's where I'm going, and I'm a little bit more delicately moving myself through the process of seeing differently. But you get that it's yours either way. Like, you get that no matter what kind of deadline you set for when you reach your goal, it's yours either way. Like, you get to decide how you're going to move through, how fast you're going to process these limiting beliefs, and when you're going to hit that goal. Like, for the sake of my course, for the sake of the money makeover, we set a goal for that course. I want it by tomorrow. Sometimes I want it by tomorrow. I don't know if you were here yesterday when I told my story of wanting $18,000 in 3 days. And I did. I did it. That's what I wanted. Sometimes I want it now and whatever, but it's up to us. Do you get that? It's up to you. There's no, like I keep saying, chalkboard written in the sky that says you can't make X amount of money in X amount of time. There's nothing that says you can or can't. It's about where your faith is at. And when you set something that's completely unrealistic, but you believe in it, that means you have to get it by a miracle. Got it? And if you believe it is truly of high service for you to get it, and you truly want it, then you're able to do that. I save. I have a savings goal every month. I have a savings goal for the year, so I have a savings goal for each quarter, and I know how much I'm saving, but I'm doing it in such a way of, won't it feel fucking amazing to have X in my savings account? Like, won't it feel so abundant to have that much money just hanging out in an account, and there's nowhere it has to go? There is no in my life, you're bad if you don't have 3 months of savings set aside. That's not how I think about money. I base everything on what feels good and feels right and feels abundant and feels like the kind of life I want to have. And then also, let me say this, I did it in a way that a lot of people would probably think was fucking backwards. When I was earning early in my business, and I was manifesting early in my business, and I was setting big goals, okay, so a lot of people would say, like, if you have debt and your business is going well and you're making like 5-figure months or whatever, then you should probably like pay off your debt immediately. Well, I wouldn't have been motivated to earn if the money had to go to debt. I would not have been motivated to earn at all. Earning wouldn't have sounded like very much fun. A Chanel bag I could get behind. So I set my financial goals around things that made me excited, places I wanted to put my money. And then over time, after I had bought some things that were really meaningful to me that I'd always wanted, it was easier to go, okay, like, well, you probably have enough Chanel bags for a moment. Like, how much do you want in your savings account? And how much debt are you going to pay on the student loans this year? Like, what do you want there? Does that make sense? So I think of debt and save, I think we have it all backwards. We have so much pressure on ourselves because we have so much fear. We have so many shoulds and so many supposed to's. And if I were living by this shoulds and supposed to's, I would be in a corporate job, or no, I'd be working at a counseling center. I don't know what my life would have been. It would have been different than this. But my should have supposed to's, the safe and the easy way, wasn't a way that felt good for me. You know what I mean? Like, I was always going to have to be in control and responsible for my life and my business, and that's who I am, and I love being an entrepreneur. And there are scary things about that, but there's also so much freedom and opportunity in that for me, right? But whether you're an entrepreneur or not, my job and my goal is to get you into the state of experiencing freedom and joy and positive, confident expectation around money no matter what. Like, for the sake of this course and the sake of learning how to manifest together, you don't have to know how it's going to come in. You just have to be clear on your desires. You have to be willing to work through every limiting belief and idea that says you can't have your desires. You have to be willing to clear that up. Tell new stories until you believe the new stories. There's some deep reprogramming your brain work I teach. and then get into a place and learn how to live in a place where you expect motherfucking abundance, where you expect God to be on your side, the universe to have your back, there always to be more than enough for you, and where you have the confident expectation that you can set your financial goals and know they're yours, and not have any crazy, that's guilty, that's selfish, that's wrong for me to desire this, because says who? Money's not bad. There's nothing wrong with desiring it. There's nothing wrong with bringing it in. It just represents opportunity and freedom and choices. There's nothing bad about having that. Like, I can be in Santa Barbara, California right now in a beach house on the water in like the most expensive neighborhood in town, and I could be somewhere else anywhere in the world tomorrow because I have opportunity. I have freedom. Money is not the reason I have to say no.